Hello. Once again I come before you as a representative of the Illuminati. You may call me the man. Well, I could stand here and continue to talk about that loose cannon in North Korea who did not get his Funyuns, by the way. They got intercepted. I knew I shouldn't have mentioned the route. I mean, I told you about these things, and I told you what the effects were. Somebody along the way really got a craving, and so the whole thing was intercepted. And that's why he's setting off H-bombs and knocking missiles outside Japan and stuff. He's throwing a little bit of a fit. So we kind of had to nudge his volcano with the lizard people. It was a whole thing. Anyway, we kind of sent him a message that maybe you just ought to calm down a little bit. We're making your Funyuns. You'll get your fire and fury. Just calm down. Anyway, I could talk about that fella. I could talk about the brain-damaged alien that lives on top of the president's head in the White House. But, we've been through all this before. So today I thought I would talk about a celebration of human achievement called Cassini. Now, most of you probably heard of Cassini. It was a satellite probe that we sent all the way to Saturn. It had a probe with it that we landed on Titan. I mean, it was just a remarkable human achievement. And I thought maybe I should tell you the story of why we sent it. Of course, there's the whole thing about, getting to know our universe, getting to know our little section of the universe, our solar system, which galactically speaking is actually a very small place. It's kind of hard to hitchhike there, but it's still kind of a small place. And so the more we learn about basically what's next door to us, the more we know about our own selves and our place in the universe, which is a very important thing to the Illuminati. But that's not why we sent the probe. You see, as most of you know, I have not always been the man. I just recently, in terms of distance or time, inherited the office basically from the previous the man. Now, the previous the man, he held the office until after the horrific events of September 11, 2001, when he just disappeared because he thought that there's no way the human race is going to survive the Anunnaki audit in 2012. So I took over the job, and I had like a 10-year span to make sure that we survived that audit. We didn't know that the bar was that low at the time. We dreaded the Anunnaki coming, and so it was a very tense decade, let's just say that. But anyway, he vanished, poof, disappeared. He decided he was going to go somewhere else, probably somewhere else, away from where things might get exploded. So, but he was the man who oversaw the whole program to go out to Saturn, and the reason he did it was incredibly selfish. See, he didn't really care so much about the rise of human achievement and knowing a lot about Saturn and Titan and discovering 2 new moons, all that kind of stuff, seeing what's going on with the rings. No, he didn't really care about that. He cared about a particular thing that the gray aliens had told him. Now, if you've watched the channel for a while, you know that the gray aliens are actually just clones from an original gray alien who was obsessed with microbial and bacteriological life. He also had another obsession, and that was a TV show that he had encountered in his travels from a race called the Vrildox. Now, the Vrildox, we haven't met them, okay? We just heard about them. And it's what we heard from all the clones, because they also inherited this obsession with his desire to learn more about microbes and biology, was that this show was the greatest show that had ever existed in the history of the galaxy, okay? It's been on for 2,000 years. Yeah, 2,000 years. And their broadcast year is like 3/4 of their full year, and their full year is like 9 of our years. So we're talking like a very long time, right? And anyway, so they were obsessed with the show, and they brought these bootleg copies of it that were their kind of low quality. When you stuck them on VHS, which, by the way, you could barely watch. I mean, seriously, it missed a lot. Let's just say there's a lot of the resolution that just wasn't there anymore. But the man, he loved this show. He could not let go of this thing. And they told him that if we sent a probe out to about Saturn, we could probably receive the signals from this show, because it's been on for 2,000 years, So we probably could see some of the original episodes, when the original guy who was first on the show, it was about him before he died and was cloned. All that stuff is just now coming through our galaxy, or our solar system. So that's basically why he did it. We couldn't get it here because the sun had too much interference. And so, he he raised the money He got all the countries involved that needed to be involved. He got the United States NASA program to put together a probe. We whipped that thing around Venus twice just to get it out to Saturn, and once he got there, we started receiving the signals. Now, what's funny about this, and ironic, of course, he didn't get to see them. I did, because he took off in 2002. I'm the one who's been watching this thing for the last 4 years, and it is amazing. There are some perks to being the man, I have to admit it, okay? There's a lot of responsibility, you know? People blame you for everything. I mean, just everything that goes wrong. A cop shoots somebody, and suddenly it's my fault, right? You know, so anyway, but there are perks too. And some of those perks, of course, I can go pretty much anywhere I want to go. I can sit on a tropical beach if I want to. I can eat in any restaurant I want to without paying for it, legally. I have a gold card from McDonald's that Ray Kroc gave to the man about 2 men ago, and he tried to weasel out of that card a couple of times. One of the times, actually, it resulted in the creation of Wendy's, but you know, square hamburgers for everybody. But anyway, yeah, it's just kind of a, he didn't do that again. But it's kind of a job that there's a lot of pressure and there's a lot of trouble, and Johnson is always there, and so it's just kind of like, it could be a pressure cooker, but then there are things that make it all worthwhile. First of all, of course, I believe in the mission. The mission is to make the world a more kind and gentle place in which to live, make humanity able to fulfill its destiny of rising from this planet out to the stars, which is our destiny. It just, you know, it's all part of that. But one of these other things is this show, and I tell you, I have watched, they beamed like a season packet, you know, when they sent these things out. And I have watched this show from almost the beginning, it has to be the beginning, through about the first 100 years. And, you know, skipping through, yeah, you have time to watch everything else. There's a couple of characters there, I don't care anything that happens to them, but everything else is, there are robots, and the robot triangle, love triangles, and there's a kitchen appliance that's fallen in love with a battle bot, and it was just like, oh, these things really emote very well. It kind of tears your heart out, you know. They're vampires, and of course, like I said, they're clones of the thing. The guy came, he died, they cloned him, and then they cloned the clones, and one of them turned evil. It was just like the best soap opera ever, and the effects are fantastic because they're real. They're actually doing the battles, and they're using the footage from the battles inside the show, and it's fantastic. And so for the last 4 years, I've really been binge watching this stuff. I haven't seen any of the Game of Thrones. I haven't watched any of the House of Cards. I've just been watching this. And this is like, a lot of nudity, though. I just want to warn you. Well, robots are typically nude, and they don't wear a lot of clothes, robots. But yeah, there's a lot of the robot nudity, especially, and it's just they actually comes with a warning at the very beginning of it. But yeah, it was weird. It's just it's like the best show ever. So let's hear it for the probe. Let's do it. I mean, sure, we found the water on several of the moons around Saturn, which is a great thing. I mean, we know a whole lot more about Titan. We found 2 new moons inside where we didn't know, inside the ring kind of areas. We found out more about the rings, which helped, by the way, with the transmission. You know, they're not metal, they're like little rocks that break apart, come back together and stuff like that. But something about the vibrational frequency just kind of helps tune this thing in a little bit more, making a very, very clear picture. And so we've learned a lot, but I'm so happy we did this. It's just the most tremendous thing ever. And I'd be happy to share it with you guys when disclosure finally happens. And of course, I've told you before, the aliens that we are involved with, they don't want the public in general knowing anything about them. So they're pushing off disclosure. We want it to happen. They don't want it to happen. We're respecting their privacy. They've helped us out a lot. In fact, ever since the Anunnaki came back, our space program has just kind of shot through the roof, just subtly. You know, we're slowly releasing the information we found out. Plausibly, you know, we sent a probe 20 years ago. We found out about the water. Well, about 6 months ago, I went right past that planet anyway, and it was pretty cool. But yeah, we're releasing this thing, and as soon as disclosure happens, I'm going to release this online. As long as their version of, what is that, the BMI or ASCAP or RIAA or whatever, doesn't sue me for, you know, not having the copyright, interplanetary copyright. We need to find out, Laney, we need to find out about the interplanetary copyright. on that before I can release it. As soon as I can, as soon as disclosure happens, you guys have got to see this. Literally, I've got 100 years of it. We'll just release it all online. YouTube will go through the roof, whatever. It is going to be awesome. And whew, some of those aliens are pretty hot too, by the way. Most of them are carbon-based. Anyway, so yeah, it's been a lot of fun. And I think we can all celebrate the accomplishment of Cassini, who wrapped up its mission, primary mission, this last week, and plummeted into the depths of Saturn. It also left early warning signals for in case there's an invasion coming that way, and we haven't picked it up. So we'll know a couple of months in advance before a space fleet gets here and tries to blow us all to pieces. Space fleet of lawyers, perhaps, from the Vril docks. We'll find out how that's going on. But anyway, yeah, so that's what's going on with Cassini. And, you know, as soon as I can, I'll do it. You guys will have a good time watching it. And it helps everybody, actually, when you take a moment and you step away from the stress in your life and you try to relax as much as you possibly can. It helps people when you interact with people and you smile at them and they smile at you. Don't you feel better? People smile at you. I think you do. I mean, that's just the way we are. We're social creatures, and we enjoy spreading cheer when we receive cheer. And the best way to receive cheer is to spread cheer. You see, it's kind of a circle, you know? Yeah, you can be grumpy and somebody smiles at you and you feel a little bit better. So we in the Illuminati, we would suggest that you help us in our quest to make the world a more kind and gentle place in which to live. When you see your neighbor, smile at him. Say, hi, how you doing? And of course, when you walk outside your house or apartment or tent, wherever you happen to dwell, you look up there in the sky and you see those chemtrails blazing up there, why, we in the Illuminati would just suggest that you relax and breathe deeply.